This is what we are making. It is a scarf, a monster scarf. It is, let me see if I can take it up a bit. These eyes are wooden beads. They push through and undo. And you can do them up again. That is to keep them in place. If you do not have wooden beads, you could use stuffing. The only issue that might happen with stuffing, unless you stuff it really, really well, is that because it's stuffing and it's soft, it might come loose. But, you know, if you're okay with that, then that's fine. We've done our mouth and our teeth. Now, I'll tell you what it comprised of. I used 70 grams only of a weight 4 Aran weight 10-ply yarn. This is 100% acrylic, and I believe it's probably Red Hearts. Similarly, I used purple in which I believe is also a Red Hearts. Also, obviously, a 10-ply, which is an Aran, which is a 4 weight, and I used 90 grams of that purple. For this, you will also need, there we go, you will also need 2 25mm balls, or beads. These are what I used. They are the same size as in there, it's just they're covered with yarn. So that's a 25mm bead. You will need some stitch markers just to mark your front side and, you know, where you're going to put your eyes and that sort of thing. You're going to need a 4mm hook. You are going to need, I think I also used a 5mm hook, and I might have used another one. For this part, I might have used, no, I didn't. So, okay, you need a 5mm hook for the body. You need a 4mm hook for your eyes, and I think I also might have used it on here. I definitely used a 4mm hook on the teeth. You can. I just used scraps of black in 4-ply, which is 3 weight, which is DK. I also used scraps in this different purple and scraps in the white to do the teeth and the rest of the eyeballs. The video has 4 parts. You can fast forward and rewind at your leisure, as fast or as slow as you wish to go, and make a monster scarf for a kid or an adult. You can make it more narrow, make it shorter. Oh, you're coming to visit again, Maggie? No, they are my stitch markers. Maggie loves stitch markers, don't you, Maggie? Come on. Yes, off you go. Thank you. She will chew the ends here, and then I can't feed them through the yarn without them gripping the yarn and ripping, you know, splitting the yarn. Yep, so where was I? Yep, what else do you need? I think that's all you need. Pretty sure that's all I used. The body consists of 24 stripes, which are each 3 rows of double crochet. As I say, you can make it longer, you can make it shorter, make it a cowl so that the monster is around your neck. It doesn't have to be a scarf. This would be a good size. It fits me, but it can also, it comes down to just above my waist, but it could just as easily be for a child and come, you know, be a little bit longer. What else? Scraps, the 20, yep, that is it. So upcoming is the scarf. I start with the eyes. That is part 1. Part 2 is the lip, the upper lip. Part 3 is, I believe, just doing the row across there and starting the body. Part 4 is doing your teeth, and attaching your eyes, and that is it. It is complete. I'll put this little blurb at the beginning of part 1, possibly at the beginning of all of them. I don't know. Let's see. But definitely at the beginning of part 1. So please stay tuned on how to make this little monster scarf and enjoy. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can receive updates on the scarf for later on. Okay, till then, I'll catch you later, or I'll catch you in a few seconds if you keep watching. Bye for now. Hi, it is me, Sam, and this is By Hook or By Needles. And today we are going to be starting a Halloween kid scarf, adult scarf. It doesn't really matter. I mean, we're all kids when it comes to Halloween, I guess. Just excuse the crankiness. I put this cardboard down because it's less reflective than the table, so I'm hoping it might be a little bit easier on people's eyes. Now, what are we going to need for this crochet along project, whatever? We are going to need 2 25mm wood beads, or any size you want. I wouldn't go smaller than 25mm. These are going to be your eyes. You could use stuffing, but these beads are going to act like buttons, so stuffed eyes might be too soft. Just consider that when doing it, unless you pack the eyes really, really tightly, which you could do. So we're going to need, I'm going to be using 2 25mm beads. I will be using my sewing needles. I will be using a 3.5cm hook, which is an F, and a H5mm hook. You will probably need a stitch marker just for convenience, and some snippers that don't work very well. But if you've got snippers that work really well, that's probably a preference. I'd go with those rather than these ones that don't cut very well. And if only I could find my scissors, but they're under my chair, along with everything else that I tend to lose. So, to start, we will also need, let's push those aside, we're also going to need just some, let's get up a bit, scrap black yarn. You're not going to need an awful lot of, you're not going to need an awful lot of this. This is just purely going to be for the pupil of our eyes. So you can imagine very, very, very little you're going to use. You're going to need some, that's 8-ply, sorry. That's going to be an 8-ply, which is a 3-weight. Again, if you want to do it in a different weight because you're using bigger beads, then by all means, do that. But then your hook size will probably change too. I'm using my 3.75 or F with my 8-ply, which is my 3-weight. What else is it known as? DK. Okay, you will need also the same ply yarn, weight yarn, whatever, in some scrap purple. Again, this is just for the iris of our eyes, so it really is only a small amount of scrap yarn. You will also need some scrap white or off-white cream, whichever. Again, this is for the eyes and or teeth. So again, it's not going to use a huge amount. All right, so we should get started. Oh, let me just put aside that and that. Put aside all this. This is our eyeball. I've made one already. This is one I baked earlier. Okay, so I'm going to show you how there's actually a wooden bead in there. It's really very simple. You will see, like I say, these are going to act as buttons, which is why I've decided to use a bead rather than stuffing. I think the stuffing may slip off to, you know, the scarf may come undone too easily. So that's what we're looking to make, an eyeball. For now, we only need our 3.75 and our stitch marker and the scissors. Okay, so I realized doing black is not going to be very easy with the lighting and that sort of thing, but it is only one round, so hopefully it won't be too hard to see. Okay, let's have a look. Let's get some of this done. Apologies for keep moving the camera. I'm trying to keep everything easy. All right, now we're making our magic loop, pulling it up, and then, oops, let's try that again. Magic loop, and pull through just to make one chain to tighten it. If you don't know how to do a magic loop, there are videos abound on YouTube showing you how to do that. We're going to do 6 single crochet. The UK call them double crochet, and we're just going to mark that first stitch just so we know where our row started. And so I do 5 more because we don't count the first chain as a stitch. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 more. And pull it tight. We go into that first stitch. I never remove my markers when I'm using dark yarn until after I've actually done the bit I want to do. Simply, yeah, because I don't trust myself. Then we're just going to cut the yarn. So that's it for our black. We don't need a black anymore. I would, on the magic ring part, you want a reasonably long chain, and I will show you why in a little while. And we cut our yarn. Oops, and I didn't mark the last. I should have kept it in there. Oh no, we don't need it because I can see it anyway. All right, so that's it for our black. Okay, I'll wind that up and get that out of the way. Next, we're going to get some purple. If you want your eyes to be green or orange or any other Halloween-y color, by all means, just, yeah, go for the flow. Red, anything. It really doesn't matter. You know, it's entirely up to you. Okay. This is, I think I might have already said, going to be, it can be a kid's scarf, but really and truly, you can make it an adult scarf or a teenage scarf, whatever. Now, we're going to go into our first, or any of the single crochet, and we're going to do 2 single crochet in that same stitch. Then we're going to get our stitch marker again, which I almost threw off the table, and mark that first stitch. Oh dear, doesn't want to go in. My hands, I'm having a lot of trouble with my hands lately, holding small things. It's, I don't know why, it's a bit annoying. Anyway, so 2 in each of the 6 stitches. So hopefully you can see where the stitches are. Just sort of spread it out if you can't. should be able to see a little bit of light, or see a bit of your table through the hole to indicate where you need to get into. And like I say, this is really the only black you're using, so once you got past this bit, we'll be okay. Now that should get 12, so I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2 more, 1, 2, and then I join it back to that first stitch. In we go. Remove the marker, chain 1, and back into the same stitch again with 2 single crochet or double crochet if you're in the UK. That rhymes. Okay. So that's just 1. We do our second, and then we do 1 stitch, then 2 in the next, 2 single crochet in the next, 1 in the next, 2 single crochet in the next, 1 in the next, 2, 1 in the next, 2, 1, 2, and that should be 18. Let's just check. I always like to count. I find it easy if you count the V's on the top rather than trying to sort of count the stitches, especially if it's a darker wool. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Brilliant. So we've done 2 rows of purple. We join, do 1 more chain, cut the yarn, and remove our stitch marker for now. So far, that's what we've got for our eyeball. We finished with, oops, sorry, hit the camera. We have now finished with our scrap purple. Now let's get some of our scrap white. I'll just unravel a load because we just need we don't need a load, we need a little bit. Whoops. Sorry, I know I keep hitting the camera. Okay. Now I reckon we could probably get this done in a day, but that depends on how much time you have in your day, I suppose. Okay, now we're doing our white. We do, the rest of it is in the white. The next 2 rounds are just going to be single crochet in each stitch. So we've finished increasing. We're not going to do any more increases. We need to bring the sides up to come around our wooden bead. And what we will actually do in a little while is I brought the magic loop strand up through the center of the bead, and I tie it with the other end of the black. A, that locks in your magic ring, and B, it locks in your bead. But we'll get to that a bit later on. So 1 standing single crochet or double crochet in the UK to start off. Slip mark, just to keep an eye on our beginning. So that's 1. We're just doing 18. Oops. Oh dear. I've split the yarn. Yes, I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15. Oh, that camera, I am so sorry. 16, I've lost count now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, and join to the beginning with a slip stitch. Chain 1 and we do a second row. Exactly the same as in the last row, but you know, we'll go through it anyway because it really, by the time I pause and unpause and edit and everything, it's just really not worth it. The eyeballs don't take very long to do. This is why I sort of do them first. Even though they're probably not needed immediately, it is a good idea to have them done when you come to making your like buttonholes or eye hole spaces for them to feed into. Everyone's going to have a slightly different tension, so it's going to be slightly different for everybody. How many chain you may need to do, so you may need to sort of practice that just to get that right for yourself. Let me just check my count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay. So we've got 2 rows of white and slip stitch. We continue in the white. Now we get our bead. We'll find the middle one. We will get a needle, thread this through, get our bead, put our bead in, find the other black part, and we're going to tie a reasonably tightish knot because we want to draw the magic loop closed. Like I said, this helps keep the bead in place for when you are doing the rest of your eyeball. Cut off the excess. Obviously, you don't need to sew any of these ends in because, you know, they are going to be hidden inside the eye. Now, the next thing we do is we're going to start decreasing. So we have gone from 6 to 12 to 18, and then we've done 2 more rows of 18. Now we're coming back down to 12, which means we basically do the the third row in reverse. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1. We're going to do 1 single crochet and mark it, and then through the front loops only, we're going to pick up a loop in the next 2 stitches of the front loop only. These make these decreases a little less visible, apparently. So that's what we do. 2 SC together. We're going to do an SC in the next stitch, and then we're doing 2 single crochet together through the front loops. Pull up 2 loops, pull through all 3. Then, oops, almost missed a stitch. Single crochet, front loop, pull up a loop, pull up a loop, pull through. And you can see why you need to join your bead when you do, because now the opening is getting a little bit tighter and you wouldn't be able to get that bead in there after this round, really. Probably could, but then you're going to stretch out the eye again. So we just did a single through the front loop, 1, 2, join 2 together, single crochet, 1, 2 through the front loop, all through, single crochet, and then the last one, pick up a loop in the next 2 crochet, single crochet, and pull through 3 loops, and then we join to our starting stitch. And this might be a bit tricky for some. I know my hands struggled with this a little bit, but it is the only portion where you may struggle, and it'll be over hopefully reasonably quickly for you. So fingers crossed. If you can cross your fingers, I can't. It'll go okay. All right, so the next stage is we are going to go from, we should be at 12 stitches. We're going to go from 12 to 6. So that means pulling up a loop in the front, pulling up a loop in the front loop of every stitch only. And then we're going to mark our front, our first stitch I mean. And there we go. One, 2 together. 1, 2 together. I'm not sure if I mentioned this is my own creation. My own design, so yeah. Just putting that out there. Pull through and pull through and join to the front first stitch. Get in there. Now I've pulled through all these colors like this. You're not going to see them when we sort of, you can do one or two things. You can either leave them hanging out and then sew them in once you actually attached your eyeball to your scarf, or you can tuck them all in with a crochet hook or something. If you tuck them all in with a crochet hook, be warned, you may see the black and the purple through the white at the back, but it will be at the back only, and that's not going to be very visible, so that decision is entirely yours. Remove the stitch marker, pull through one. Now at this point I leave once again a good length of tail, because I'm going to pull that through. I'm going to pick up my blunt needle again. And then I'm just going to, whoops, drop my yarn. I'm going to thread that. And just to tighten it all, that camera, I'm going to go through each stitch. Just loop it over, because what I'm going to do is just pull it all together just to tighten it up one last time, tie a knot, and be finished. Just so it's nice and tight, so there's no chance of that, you know, wooden bead coming out at any stage. Now you can tie this off with the white from where you started. You can tie it off with the purple, you can tie it off with anything. It's really up to you. I'm just going to tie it off with the white. If you tie these all off pretty securely, you should be able to catch cut the tails fairly short so that, you know, you can probably get away with weaving in the ends and just stuffing them in. And the shorter the tail is when you stuff it in, the less likely you are to sort of see it. But there is our second eyeball. Done. Now, you might want to add a little bit of white, you know, to the eyeball to give a bit of definition or something. You can do that for a little bit of extra decoration. You might want to put a little bit of red yarn here to make them look a little bit bloodshot. That's, once again, a variation that you can add. So we have finished for now with our white yarn. Right, next we need, I think I might end this section here. What you're going to need next is we're going to move on. We're going to need our H 5mm hook for the next part, and we're going to need purple and green for the body of our scarf monster, whatever you want to call him, snake, whatever. Now, with these yarns, I have weighed them. I don't know how, you know, I have put at the beginning of this video how much I used, but at this point, I don't know how much I've used of each. But that's 87 grams, and this is a, what did I write this down as? Oh dear, where did I write it down even better? I wrote it down somewhere. Hang on, here we go. 87 for the green and 136 for the purple. I'm not going to use all of this. This is just like a cowl-like scarf. It's or a scarf-like cowl with a bit of a tail on it. So you're not going to use all of that. Like I say though, at the beginning of the video, I've probably already told you how much I used because I've actually finished and shown you the finished project. Okay, so that is part one done. Have a go at that, see how you go. I will see you in part two. Once again, I'll be doing the same as I did with the entrelac work. I'm not going to give you just one part every week because obviously Halloween is just around the corner. So I'm going to give you all parts all at the same time. You can do them as quickly and as slowly as you like, but I'm just going to split them up into parts just to make it easier for me for editing and all the rest of it. So, bye for now. Take care. Be good if you can. And yeah, I'll see you in part two. Bye.